What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about what Brits find most bizarre about Americans. Bizarre about Americans? Can't think of a thing. This might just have to be a short video. I'm not sure we can find anything strange about America. Nothing odd going on here. I don't know if anyone's gonna have any bizarre things about America, but honestly, I am excited about this topic because most of the time on this channel, I think I find myself as an American learning about strange, bizarre things about British culture from my point of view. And today, we're gonna turn the tables. We're gonna learn about what Brits think is really strange and bizarre about American culture. So I'm really interested to see what Brits have to say about this. And I found this little Reddit discussion where someone was asking, what is the most bizarre thing Americans do that feels unbelievable by British standards? Unbelievable. Unthinkable in Britain. Is there anything that happens regularly in America as an accepted thing that would be totally alien in the UK? This is also really interesting topic to me because there's probably stuff here that I don't even recognize or realize myself. Since I am living it, since I am an American in America, I probably don't even see stuff that would be strange to other people from other countries around the world. For me, it's Americans' relaxed attitude to just randomly moving sports teams to another city at the will of the owners. That's a very interesting sort of criticism, but it's very true. I don't even think about that. Perfect example. I guess it's because here in America, we definitely treat sports as a business. Like, there are crazy dedicated fans to American football and baseball and basketball, but we are certainly not above just moving a team on a whim if it's like a good business decision or something. Is that not so normal in other places in Britain? That's more of an American thing, huh? There you go. I'm learning things already. And what else do we have? Having kids do the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag in school. Having kids pledge allegiance to the flag in school seems culty, cult-like. We're a cult, an American cult. Honestly, this is a really good point. This is actually super true. It's funny because I never even reflected on this until I was an adult. Because in America, in school, growing up, you do say the Pledge of Allegiance. It's a very specific set of words, almost like a poem or passage. And you do it towards a flag that's in the classroom. You put your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I still have it memorized to this day. And when you're a kid and you're just told that that's how things are, that's what you do. You go to school and you say you pledge allegiance to the flag. You don't know that it's strange. As a kid, I remember not even thinking about the words of the Pledge of Allegiance. I just said it like a good little American boy, I guess. And it's only in hindsight do I think as an adult, like, that was weird. Like, I couldn't consent to that. I couldn't have understood what I was saying. It's a bit like, why do I have to pledge my allegiance? Or is someone gonna come take me away if I don't pledge myself to the flag every day? Funny enough, I remember there was a little awareness about this in school. You had the option of not saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I think you could just stand there or sit down, but the pressure was there. You really felt like you would stick out if you didn't do the Pledge of Allegiance. If you didn't pledge allegiance to the flag, you felt a little bad, and I feel like that was, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but you felt weird, like an outcast, if you didn't do it, because basically everyone was doing it, unless there happened to be a kid there, maybe an exchange student from another country, and us Americans would be just kind of, oh, that's a little, strange. They don't do the pledge, but they're from another country. Okay, but and it's this thing we just grew up doing. And I didn't even realize that was strange to other countries. Like other countries like Britain don't do that, apparently. I went to an American school in Italy. When I lived in Italy, I was one of the only English kids there. The Pledge of Allegiance was indeed every morning, and it felt as culty as you think. They called my parents when I wasn't joining in. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. They definitely, if you don't want to join in, especially if you're from England, of course you shouldn't have to say the American Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Of course not. They should not have called your parents. That's horrible. And I think when I think about it now, if I was an American in like the UK as a child and everyone stood up and said this pledge, these words, pledging themselves to the flag, I would definitely have been like looking around like, what is going on? This is strange. This is bizarre. So I actually think that's a really, really, really good example of something that people from Britain find bizarre about Americans that Americans don't really think about very much, to be sure. Okay, other things that are bizarre things about Americans, according to Brits. Circumcision. Huh. This is this whole video is just going to be me reading things going, huh, I never thought about that before. Yeah, circumcision is very, very prevalent in the United States. Let me see if I can look up how prevalent. It's very common. I don't know why. According to the CDC, 81% of American men are circumcised, and I'm not surprised to hear that. It's not even so much a religious thing, because 81% of American men aren't religious. So I think maybe it started as a religious thing. It's a near universal in the United States. Right, it's in the US, it's definitely considered a little more strange to not be circumcised, but honestly, if you made any complaint about this, like being uncircumcised or circumcised, I'd just be like, what? That's not really your business about their body, and why do you care? But it's worth thinking about, why is this the default in America? That's for sure. What about in the UK? How prevalent in the UK? In the UK, 20% of males are circumcised. Circumcision is more about religious community. Wow, 20? Only 8.5%. It's 8.5 to 20% compared to 80% in America. I didn't even realize how big of a discrepancy that is. I had no idea. It's totally normal in America. It's considered the norm. You're a bit abnormal if you're not circumcised. That's just how it's again, I hate to say this because I feel like I've disappointed myself, but it's one of those things where it's how things are, so you don't question it until finally you grow a brain and you do. So, okay, let me look up, why is this? Circumcision rates in the US skyrocketed to 90% after World War II. The medical community promoted it as preventative measure for a variety of conditions. Fighting cancer, fighting urinary tract infections, fighting STDs. So it made boys more hygienic, less tempting to masturbate. This is troubling. This is disturbing. Easier to clean. And so boys looked like their father. These are terrible reasons. Wow. Yeah, that's bizarre. I agree. I now agree with that. That's bizarre. It's definitely one of those, oh, it's the way it is kind of things, which is a terrible reason to do something. Oh, it's the way it is. Like, what is that? Wow. Okay, other bizarre things about Americans that are going to blow my mind, apparently. Driving crazy distances. Yeah, okay. This is a little more, I don't know, lighthearted or something. Like, in America, it's very normal to drive long distances because America is so gigantic. As a matter of fact, when I started learning more about the UK on YouTube, I was kind of blown away at how close everything is to each other. I was blown away. I was like, that's bizarre how in the UK you can get everywhere in an hour or two or three, right? Is that reasonable to say? And that's such a different way of thinking, so the reverse is true. Do Brits find it a little strange that it takes so long to get anywhere, especially compared to the UK? And yeah, Americans are just kind of used to it. A lot of Americans don't travel outside the United States, and I think one of the reasons is the US is so gigantic. You could spend your whole life trying to visit every state and all the cool stuff that there is. And you definitely get used to the fact that visiting your relatives or going on vacation somewhere in the US, you're gonna drive for like 12 hours, 20 hours if you're going across the whole US, 24 hours easily. Carrying guns. Oh, okay. Carrying guns. I could see how that is bizarre to other people around the world. To Brits, this is a bizarre thing about America, but I will say, as an American, from my point of view, it's not totally socially acceptable to carry a gun. You can legally carry a gun in the United States if you get the proper permits and certifications. You can do it. But it would make every American around you extremely uncomfortable. I would be very uncomfortable if someone was carrying a gun. Americans can carry guns and hide them. They can be a concealed weapon. That's disturbing, but it's something I don't really think about because fortunately for me, I've never lived in a high crime area or some kind of city in the US that has high crime or gun violence, luckily for me. But I think the point here is the fact that we can even have guns very easily and carry them pretty easily, and it's legal. That's the bizarre thing to Brits. And this definitely is something that Americans don't think about very much. I would think it's bizarre if American carried a gun, but I don't think it's bizarre that we are able to do it. But I do, follow me here, but I do think it's incredibly bad how easy it is. You should have to pass so many tests. You should have to pass so many exams, physical, mental examinations, really prove that you're trustworthy to carry a weapon. And honestly, yeah, it's you could beg the question, why does anyone but the police even need to carry a gun? I don't know. This is the American in me is tempted to say, well, it's just part of American freedom. And the fact that if an American felt threatened or wanted it for self-defense or just like didn't trust the people around them or their government, or back in the day when America was formed, the right to bear arms was kind of based around if you needed to fight against your own government if they got out of control. For those reasons, it's pretty ingrained in me to, as an American, to be like, okay, it's okay that we can get guns, but I'd like to see it be much more difficult. Way more certifications and testing and training. That's kind of where I'm at this point, but I can totally see if it's really bizarre to other people around the world. Like, the fact that we can even have the guns and that it's a thing opens the door for gun violence, which is horrible. It really is. And there's no great solution to that, I think, you know. It's an interesting thing to talk about, though, for sure. Worrying about paying for healthcare. Oh man, I don't even want to get into this too much or the entire video. This is just going to turn into a healthcare rant video. Yeah. This is bizarre. It's bizarre to me as an American. This is not just bizarre to Brits looking at Americans and America. This is bizarre to me. I don't know why this isn't a bigger issue. I think it's because in America you can go bankrupt for certain medical conditions if you don't have the proper healthcare coverage or healthcare insurance. You can go bankrupt. If you get certain diseases or cancers and you're not covered, you can go bankrupt. A trip to the emergency room can cost you thousands of dollars for all sorts of stuff. But I think for the most part, most Americans are covered enough and are okay enough surviving under the current healthcare situation that it's not more of an issue. It's not more debated, not more brought up, because most Americans are okay. They get by. They have enough coverage and survive, and don't. But for the Americans in bad financial situations where healthcare screws them, they can't get healthcare, the fact that they have to worry, that fact that anyone in America has to worry about getting healthcare is sad. That is sad. And bizarre, as this video topic states it. It is bizarre, for sure. It's bizarre, it's not more of an issue. Going to a mega church. Going to a mega... I don't know if I laugh because do Brits kind of look at America and think, oh, those Americans, they all carry guns and go to mega churches. It's like, it's not really like that. Maybe more in some of the southern areas of America, like Texas is really big on guns and gun laws, and other southern states are kind of known for being more religious and open to guns. But the vast majority of the United States, we don't go to mega churches. A lot of Americans are religious and go to church, but mega churches are like next level, like 10,000 people with a weird yelling pastor on that gets on television somehow, and it makes $50 million somehow as a pastor of a megachurch. But it's not normal, it's not common, and carrying a gun is not common, going to a megachurch is not common, so it is bizarre that those are American things, but certainly not typical American things, I'll argue. Seeing ads for prescription medicine on TV. Yeah, that's another one that we don't really think about, huh? Seeing ads for medicine on television, I didn't even know that was weird until I started understanding that that's not common or that's not legal in other parts of the world, like the UK. In America, they straight up have commercials, advertisements for buying medicines. And I just saw that growing up. Again, it's again this thing where it's like the Pledge of Allegiance. You see it, you just do it and see these things growing up, and you don't really get enough exposure to the outside world. That's one of the reasons I love learning about the UK on YouTube, is it gets me more exposure to lines of thinking and thought outside of America, and questioning some of these things, like why is it so easy to get guns? Why is our healthcare system so bad? Why are we advertising experimental medicine things, advocating for people to get medicine and drugs on TV? Yeah, it's good things to think about. I'm enjoying this discussion, actually, quite a bit. Very enlightening for me. Independence Day celebrations. I don't know if is that really that bizarre? I think a lot of countries around the world have like an independence type day or a national day where they celebrate. Doesn't even the UK have bonfire night and stuff like that? So this is Americans do go kind of crazy on Independence Day, and maybe it's like a sore spot between the US and UK, but I wouldn't even think so at this point. But yeah, we do go kind of nuts on Independence Day, and it's probably a bit bizarre to look at from other parts of the world, like the UK. What else do we have? These are good. Going bankrupt because you need your broken leg realigned. Yeah, that is bizarre. I agree. Going homeless as a result of needing to pay for cancer treatment. America is a dumb and poor place at times, given its alleged opportunity and wealth. Yeah, for how great Americans kind of think we are and how leading and innovative America is and a world leader, we have really big problems with homelessness and healthcare in particular. The fact that people need to worry about paying for their healthcare and how they're going to do it, how they're going to get coverage, and how much money hospitals and pharmaceutical companies make in America. It is really a business, and it really feels that way when you get a literal bill in the mail because you had to go to the emergency room because you had a kidney stone. You had a kidney stone or something, and you get a bill for $1,500 and a list of items. How much the Band-Aid costs, like $20, and the morphine costed you $300 that you needed, and it feels like a business. And that is very normal in America for it to feel that way. And I kind of like reading about these things, about how I and other Americans shouldn't think this is how it has to be. It's not how it has to be. There's other ways. There's better ways. It doesn't have to be this way. It is bizarre, for sure. School shootings. Yes, yes. These are good, kind of controversial, but I don't mind it. Topics. Things that are bizarre about Americans, school shootings. Yeah. I don't ever hear about mass shootings in other countries. I don't know if that's because America doesn't cover them in our news, or mass shootings just don't exist much in other developed nations similar to the United States. It does seem like an American phenomenon. School shootings, all Americans are outraged by them. All Americans hate school shootings. Yet, we don't often make our gun laws any stricter or access to guns any harder, because there really, really is this take and give, this tug of war between Americans hating how much gun violence there is, but also wanting to allow Americans the freedom to have guns to protect themselves. It's just, it boils down to that die-hard American freedom. Free in every way. Free to say anything you want, whether that's nice things or horrible things. Free to have a gun for your house if you live in the middle of the woods to protect yourself. It extends to the other extreme of free to have a gun to walk around hidden in your jacket and walk around the mall. Now, should it go that far? Up for debate. Certainly up for debate. And definitely a bizarre American thing. And probably why school shootings happen. Probably why. Man, goodness. On a less serious note, thank you for saving me. On a less serious note, boiling water in a pan for a cup of tea. I do this. I do this. I have green tea to be healthy. I have green tea, and I boil it in a pot of water. I boil it and pour it in the cup. Is that not how you do it? Brits have kettles, water kettles. Where are all the kettles? Yeah, that's funny. Where are all the kettles? I don't know. I don't know where the kettles are, but we don't have them. I don't know how that technology was lost somehow. Americans don't drink much tea, so the demand for water kettles or electric kettles, that's what they are. You plug them in and it heats up the water and you can pour it. I need one of those. And I think some Americans need it, but maybe not enough. We don't have a culture of tea or tea time, so electric kettles never got to us somehow. So we're just out here microwaving water, having crappy, worse tea. Is heating the water via microwave and boiling it change the taste? Like, it's just hot water. It's all the same. I'm gonna keep boiling my water in my disgusting, dirty pan. Whatever, I won't change. I won't change for this little comment to get a kettle. I might eventually, but there you have it. That was a nice little kind of funny thing to end on, a little lighthearted, but I really enjoyed all the interesting points of view here. And again, really seeing this from the British point of view of how American culture is bizarre, and kind of opening my eyes up a bit to why do we do some of the things we do? It's just the way they are? No, it's good to think about. Why do we do some of the weird things we do? And I really enjoyed kind of thinking and talking about this. So this was great. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment, perhaps with what you think is bizarre about Americans. That'd be really funny to hear. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to British culture and stuff in Britain, about Britain, that I have never learned before or seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.